It hits you in the gut the moment you hear it. A young artist with a rising career. A musician who blended punk, hip-hop, and metal into something raw and personal. And now, at just 26, he's gone. Poorstacy, real name Carlito Milford, wasn't just another voice in the emo rap world. He was one of the few who managed to build something fresh out of pain. If you ever heard even a second of his music, you could tell it came from a place most people never talk about. Today, his fans, collaborators, and the entire alternative scene are trying to make sense of the news they hoped they'd never hear. Authorities in Florida confirmed that Poorstacy died over the weekend. The Palm Beach County Medical Examiner shared the confirmation, and the Boca Raton Police Department told Billboard that the rapper died Saturday after what they described only as an incident. They didn't give more details, and the department wasn't immediately available for comment. But what we do know is this. Officers were called to a hotel in Boca Raton early that morning, and Carlito was rushed to a nearby hospital. He didn't make it. When a story breaks like this, the facts alone never tell the full truth. You start seeing the reaction ripple out online, and in this case, it happened fast. Hundreds of fans poured into the comments of his last Instagram post. Some wrote that they wished they could have done something. Others thanked him for the songs that carried them through their own dark days. And several expressed fears that his death may have been a suicide, though the official cause has not been confirmed. One fan wrote something that stops you for a second. You just never know how severe someone's mental pain is. Rest up, Stacy. You can feel the heartbreak between the words. When someone's music helps you out of your own shadows, losing that person hits differently. Another fan posted, "Love you, family. Wish there was more we could do for you. Rest in paradise." That same message was repeated again and again in different forms. It was clear that this wasn't just a performer with a following. This was someone whose emotional honesty made people feel understood, even if they'd never met him. Poorstacy grew up in Palm Beach County, and his journey through music was anything but typical. He didn't fit neatly into a single category and never tried to. His style lived somewhere between heavy metal, emo rap, and punk rock, and he brought all of it together with a kind of raw intensity that made you stop and listen. His lyrics often explored pain, frustration, and survival. For a lot of people, that vulnerability became a lifeline. Over the past few years, he dropped 2 studio albums and 2 EPs, each one pulling in more listeners. His sound got him the attention of artists across genres, including Travis Barker, who became one of his most consistent collaborators. They worked together on tracks like Choose Life, Nothing Left, and Hills Have Eyes. If you've ever watched Barker's career, you know he doesn't just work with anyone. He gravitates toward artists who are fearless, who experiment, who put their soul inside every verse. Poorstacy fit that mold perfectly. Seeing photos of him on stage at festivals like Riot Fest or Life is Beautiful feels different now. In those shots, you can see a young artist who performed like the music was pouring straight out of him. There's a moment in every performer's life when you can tell they're about to break through, and for Poorstacy, it felt like he was right on that edge. His fan base was loyal. His collaborations were growing. His sound was maturing. Everything pointed toward a long career. But we also know that fame doesn't make someone untouchable. Sometimes the people who express the most emotion in their art are the ones who hide the deepest pain in real life. That's why the fan comments are hitting so hard. People are trying to reconcile the music that lifted them with the possibility that the voice behind it may have been fighting something overwhelming. We don't know the cause of death yet. Officials haven't released it, and it may take time before more details come out. Until then, what we do know is that an artist who meant a lot to a lot of people is gone far too young. And whether you knew him from one song or you followed his whole journey, the loss is heavy. Moments like this also bring up bigger conversations that the music world keeps circling back to. Mental health, pressure, the weight of creating and performing while trying to keep your private struggles hidden. Whenever an artist dies unexpectedly, especially someone whose music openly wrestled with pain, the public reaction becomes a mirror. Fans start asking themselves if they missed something. Friends wonder if they should have reached out. And the industry remembers how fragile its brightest talents can be. Poorstacy didn't make music that was glossy or polished or detached. He made music that sounded like the inside of someone's head on the hardest days. That's why this loss feels personal to so many people who never met him. His songs didn't just play in the background. They told listeners that their own struggles weren't strange or shameful. They were human. As tributes continue to pour in, what stands out most is how many people say his music helped them feel less alone. That's the kind of impact artists dream about. Even if someone lived only 26 years, leaving that behind is real. It matters. If you scroll through his older posts now, you see pieces of his journey. Studio clips, tour photos, candid selfies. It's all the stuff young musicians share without thinking twice. But looking at it today, it feels like snapshots from a story that ended too soon. While his official cause of death remains unknown, the grief is real and immediate. Collaborators will speak out in time. Friends and family will share their stories. Fans will keep revisiting the songs that helped them through breakups, depression, loneliness, and long nights. His work doesn't disappear. It stays with the people who needed it. Poorstacy's rise was fast, but it wasn't accidental. He built a sound that didn't sound like anyone else. And he did it during a time when the lines between genres were blurring and new artists had more freedom than ever to experiment. He took that freedom and ran with it. His collaborations with Barker were proof that he was on the radar of major names who saw something real in him. Now, his legacy rests in the music he left behind and in the fans who will keep playing it to feel connected to the person who made it. That connection doesn't disappear just because the news is painful. For more breaking updates, remember to follow Xplained Daily. What's the first song you ever heard from Poorstacy?